Hello, everyone. Today's Tuesday, September the 8th.
I'm George Dotcher in Jacksonville, Florida.
I'm Jeff Zayas from Napa, California.
I am the long-lost Robert Taylor from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hey, everyone. I'm Duke Carrico, and we're back. Episode 104. Yes, all right. Hey, tonight we're going to talk about new devices from Google, Samsung, Motorola, OnePlus. Amazon's going to debut a $50 tablet. Are you kidding me? Hey, do you care? And Google's making a router, but hey, will they sell? Who's going to buy them? Hey, gang, welcome back to Android Journal.
What's Android Journal?
Hey, may I do something really
Why am I
quick?
here?
Would that be okay?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I would like to take this band off because I said I wear the band until Robert came on the show again. So the band is off. My hand is free.
I'm doing the same then. The band is off.
No, it's good to have him back.
Might cry on the other side of the camera. For those of y'all who are listening or don't know, I've been absent from Android Journal for the last few weeks. We had a little bit of a cancer scare with carcinoid cancer. It is treatable, but it is kind of serious. And the guys here at Android Journal, have been wearing these bands in support of me. They're zebra-shaped, colored black and white, and it's just really nice. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, George. Duke, Bruce also. I know he's listening, so I really appreciate the support.
Yeah, and Robert, definitely welcome back. You're looking good, you're sounding good, and we're glad everything went well with your surgery. And listen, we're just glad to have you back, buddy.
And Robert, in your absence, we decided to change the format. We're all about fantasy football now. So drafts in the football players. So it's no more tech. It's just fantasy football, buddy.
Okay, I'm signing out now.
Hey, listen, man, so much has happened since in about 5-6 weeks span. Just so much has happened. First of all, hey, let's talk about something not Android related. Jeff, how you liking Windows 10, man?
I really like Windows 10. It's been a good performer. My performance of my system has been, bolstered. I like this, the revamped UI a little bit, and and I'm digging Cortana. It's fast, so I'm liking all the aspects of it, and I haven't had any, compatibility issues with any of my programs. It's been absolutely flawless for me. I've been really liking it.
I have had a compatibility issue with XSplit and Windows 10. A lot of times it shuts down. It kills both the browser and XSplit, and I don't know what's going on there. But listen, I love the look. But I know how George feels about it. So, George, I'm going to give you the opportunity to give the other side of the evil corporate Microsoft's new software, Windows 10.
Well, I mean, you can't shut off any of the crap they tell you can shut off. They Wireshark the damn thing, and all that stuff stays on, or more stuff stays on. So, I don't know. I keep using it. I don't care. It just keeps me employed.
Okay.
Get what you pay for.
Hey, Robert.
We didn't pay anything for it, so I
don't pay anything for mine either.
I've loaded it on several systems. I got to tell you, for the most part, it went pretty well. There was one really bad hardware incompatibility that I had. My scanner, my little brother sheet scanner that I scan my receipts with. Absolutely no drivers, and they were not going to develop drivers for it, and it's only a year old. I had to go out and buy a whole brand new scanner and kind of toss the other one.
Yeah. I haven't messed a whole lot with it. I've got it installed on 2 of my systems. I'm actually thinking about, no joke, I'm not saying it because George is present. I'm really thinking about installing Linux on one of these systems that I installed Windows 10. Just because I don't really need Windows 10 on this system. I do like Linux occasionally, and to be honest with you, about the only reason I'm running Windows 10 is I'm running XSplit Broadcaster, which runs on Windows 10, and I wouldn't be able to bring you this podcast without XSplit. I could, just not as fancily. How's that? So, but yeah, I'm liking Windows 10. Jeff, well, I've got one more question, and then we're going to move on and talk about Android. You mentioned that you liked Cortana. How would you compare Cortana to Google Now?
For me, I think it's actually faster. I don't know. Well, actually, I take that back. I know why it's faster because I'm doing it on my, PC, and it's processing it way quicker. So I like it how it's integrated into the toolbar, and you just, pretty much just click on it, and it has a lot of quick responses. I haven't used it to set up any kind of alarms, any calendar, or anything like that. But asking questions like, what's the weather going to be like today? It, comes back instantly with, what it's going to be like, or just basic questions. If I ask it how old Pamela Anderson is, it's going to come back with it, And I like the voice. I think it's a very pleasant voice. So for me, it's as good, as quick as Google Now, and I think actually kind of refreshing in this strange sort of way.
Now, just to clarify, you went from 8.1 to Windows 10. Is that correct?
That is correct.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
And Robert, you went from 7, didn't you? Did you jump to 8.1?
I've actually done all of them. I've gone from 7, 8, and 8.1 because I have multiple systems here. So they were all in various states, each of these machines, and they all upgraded to 10 flawlessly. And we're talking about older systems, newer systems, mismatch all, throughout. It went very well. I think that the biggest complaint I had as far as the upgrade process, it was a very, very long download and install. Very long.
On this particular system that I'm running right now, which is it's an i7 processor. George knows what I've got. He's got one just like it. 16 gigs of RAM. But what messed me up is I have a USB external hard drive hooked to this. And when Windows started the upgrade process, it identified an error on this drive. Took almost 8 hours to repair it. Okay? It would not go on with the upgrade process until, honestly, I didn't think about it. If I would have thought that would have happened, I would have unplugged the thing, installed Windows 10, and then corrected any bad sectors later, just through the normal process. But yeah, it took forever. I was getting pretty frustrated, but once that was fixed, moved on, and yeah, I love the look of Windows 10, and so far so good with it. Absolutely. All right, hey guys, let's talk about Android. Son of a gun. Hey, first of all, let's talk about the Nexus 5 that's supposed to debut September the 29th. 3 gigs of RAM, an 808 Qualcomm processor. Tell you what, guys, 2,700 milliamp hour battery. You can tell this is an LG. Looks very similar to the LG Nexus 5. Does have a fingerprint reader on the back. Word is this thing's going to debut a little bit more expensive than the original Nexus 5. Probably $400 for the 16 gigabyte version. Jeff, give me some thoughts on this, man. What do you think about this device? You being an LG guy, do you think Google's going to have a winner here? Who is going to buy this phone?
Well, I think the phone market is so tough. First of all, I love my LG 3. I just totally dig this thing. I did end up cracking the front part of the phone and was able to replace it, but this thing is quick. I love the pictures. It's fast. The battery life is incredible. What I like about it, though, is this has a removable battery, which is nice in case your phone ever does, like I did, some damage to my phone, and I had to take the battery out to kind of reboot it, because everything else wasn't working on the touch screen. Yeah, so that's always a nice feature to have. I like the camera system on mine. I think that, the specs are kind of out on this thing about the camera. It's supposed to be the same 12 megapixel kind of deal, but I like the LG quality of it. So, but $400, it's hard to get a phone out of contract. I don't know. I've been buying phones under contract. I haven't been buying them out of contract now that I got rid of my unlimited phone usage. So, none of their, gosh, how can I say this? None of their phones have made a real dent in the Android market. In terms of sheer numbers.
In other words, you still think this is a developer / fanboy, Google fanboy device, and it's not going to hit any kind of critical mass.
I would say yes to that, and that's a wonderful way. You said it better than I did, so yes, I'm going to agree with you.
Robert, jump in here, man. Weigh in. What do you think?
Well, I kind of find it odd. The LG2, the LG3, they've been fairly successful phones. I don't think that this is going to be the same kind of runaway success. I think there are a lot of people who do want a pure Google experience, and that's what Nexus is supposed to be. But I think people have kind of gotten a bad taste in their mouth between Lollipop, or as Bruce likes to say, Lollipoop, and what the pure Android Nexus experience is. So that's not going to bode well for this phone. I don't know as far as the specs. They pretty much match all of the latest and greatest of what Samsung is doing, which HTC is doing. I mean, there's nothing spectacular here that I see. I'm not really a big fan of that Panda-style white with black, phones. I don't care for a white phone myself. So, styling, it's not anything a big style factor either. So I'm not sure that this is going to be a big, huge success. And I don't think there are as many Google fanboys as there used to be. They're gone on and moved on to HTC and even Motorola with its almost pure Nexus experience.
Let's talk about Motorola. They've just announced their Moto X, their Pure Edition, and I've got it up here. Hey, let's have a little fun. Right now, this thing, the way that it is, it's $399, okay? I can pre-order it right now, just hitting a button, and this is what I get. I get a white front, a white edge, a white back with this yellow-green accent. So this is 16 gigs of storage. I'm going to hit the drop down here and bump it up to 64 gigs of storage. Now it's $499. I just added $100 to the price to get the 64 gig model. Now let's customize it. Do I want white or do I want black? I'll go ahead and take black. I've still got the green accents going. Okay, let's look at the accents. Right there is that's just more white. There's a little bit more gray. Let's just for time. So now I've got the blue accents going now. Let's back up here. Let's see. Maybe I want to add a wood back to this, and that's going to add $25. Of course, I could add leather. Engraving. Let's see. Hey, I want my name on this thing, man. If it's mine, what do you think? And I apply that, and there it appears down on the bottom. And now I can do a greeting that's going to appear on the front. Welcome back, Duke.
Welcome back, Dookie.
And now when the thing boots up, it's even more personal. All for the pre-order price of $524.99. What do you think, man?
All that is fluff. It's fluff. There are people who and I'm not one of these folks. There are people who go gaga over the wood grain back or the leather back or the pink, this or the blue that or the red. To me, that's all fluff. I'm more concerned about price and performance. Okay, I don't need to have engraving on the back of the phone. I know it's my phone. I'm going to have it in my pocket. I don't have somebody else's phone in my pocket. And it doesn't have to say, welcome back to me. That just gets in my way. Get the heck out the way. Let me, do what I want to do. I'm not a big fan of this. I have never been a fan of the Moto Maker, line of stuff. But there are people who think this is a big thing, and they love doing it. I think what's the better part about this is it's a decent phone at a somewhat reasonable price. And you're getting, like I said, a nearly pure Nexus experience with the Moto devices. The only thing that I don't like is their locked bootloaders. And getting the bootloaders unlocked is a headache if you can get it done at all.
Okay.
It has a 21 megapixel camera. Does 4K video capture, has a turbocharging, has some nice little features, I don't know.
Okay.
I love that. My Razr Max. I loved my Razr Max. They made nice phones.
While you guys were talking there, I redid the phone in pink accents, and for the engraving. Here, let me do it again. I put, there's a sexy Bob that I put there on the bottom. And for the greeting now, it says, Robert is so sexy.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
See, now he'll change his tune because it's all about him.
Yeah, right. But, when you look at the phone and see it as compared to what the Moto X first started out with, this is a bump up in price. Remember that the Moto X, originally when they went on sale, they were down as low as, I think, $329. Now look at this. It's $499. It's not cheap, but certainly not, in the price of the Note 5 or the S6 or any of those. And it's a good quality performer.
I think it's towards the high end, and listen, I don't think it's unreasonable in price if you look at other phones out there on the market. I really don't. And for people who like personalization, this is a pretty cool feature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to personalize it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What I thought was interesting when Motorola made this announcement, they also announced a similar feature for the Moto 360 watch, and this is the second version. Of course, they've moved the button from the 3 o'clock position to the 2 o'clock position. It's still got that flat tire look, and Motorola says that they do that to get the largest watch face they can possibly get within that space. And I think it's interesting that you can get a 46 millimeter or a 42 designed for men, or a 42 millimeter designed for women. And you can customize the bezel. You can, like I say, I think it's pretty cool that you can upgrade this phone, pick the band that you want, pick a face. I don't see the face as being any great big deal, simply because you can get watch faces all over Google Play. And if you install apps such as Fuji Black, Watchmaker, what's the other one there, Facer, you're unlimited on your watch faces. So I don't see this last option as that big of a deal. I did think it was interesting that you can customize this watch in this fashion. George, what do you think, man?
Well, I'll stick with my Pebble, but it's actually kind of cool. I almost was tempted to buying a Moto, actually when you were here, and then I don't know, Pebble.
All right, Jeff, what do you think?
Well, I don't know. I do like the idea that you can customize stuff. I think that's very user friendly, and and that's the whole idea of the watch faces customizing, like you're talking about. So I think all those things that are positives, and that they can do that. The price seems to be within reason. That flat tire, I don't understand why they still have that. That's one thing I just don't get. So I think it's a good idea. I think they'll sell some watches, but I'm looking forward to the new Samsung watch. I like the design of that from what I first kind of was seeing that. So
You talking about the Samsung watch running Tizen that was recently
Right.
unveiled?
Yeah, because that supposedly is going to have a 3-day battery life. I like the idea that you can take the bezel and move it, move the commands with that, and in different apps. And I also like the idea that it has a heart rate monitor with it. So.
You're talking about the customization. You said you thought it was reasonable. Look what happens when you go to customize the Apple Watch.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, just a change in band can add as much as $200 to the price of the watch. I think that Apple's trying harder to make a fashion statement with the Apple Watch. But with that said, we all know that this type of technology definitely has a shelf life of a couple of years in most cases. And I just find it, let's put it this way, I think Motorola's approach to customization is a lot more reasonable to the consumer than Apple's approach. Would you not agree with that, Jeff? Because you've defended Apple quite a bit on this show. Would you?
Yeah, and yeah, except for their price. Like you said, they've already turned into the second watchmaker, right? I mean, behind Fitbit for fitness watches, so they've definitely made up a lot of ground in like 1 year, and that's their first generation. When their second generation comes out, they'll probably even sell more watches. So, but it is an expensive piece.
Mhm.
It is an expensive, and I'm still, as we talk about things, as Android Wear is going to the iPhone, I wonder if the Apple app for the watch will come to the Android. When that happens, I think it's just going to be kind of crazy. I wish it does happen, just to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't expect that to happen, to be honest with you. I just can't see Apple jumping on the Android bandwagon to sell watches. I think that, they've got their niche right now with iOS. Robert, talk to me, man. Jump in here and give your opinion.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think that Apple's going to do it either. Why would they, conspire with the enemy, if you will? They want to sell their devices. They're going to promote their ecosystem. They're not going to want to step into somebody else's ecosystem. So I don't think they're going to. Go ahead. You can disagree all you want, Jeff.
Okay, but Apple Pay.
Yeah.
Apple Pay, if they can use the Apple Watch to do Apple Pay and get that and put that on an Android, phone, I think that's a great little intro for them, because that's a lot. That's chink, 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 chink. So I don't know.
I don't think so.
All
I
right,
don't think it's going to happen.
Hey, let's move on here. Son of a gun. We're 25 minutes into the show and we're still talking about these new devices. Let's talk about one more really quick. Actually, two more. The OnePlus 2, guys. The OnePlus 2. First of all, it's running a variant of Android 5.1. They call it Oxygen OS. 64-bit Qualcomm, 810 processor, 1.8 gigahertz, octa-core CPU, Adreno 430 GPU, 4 gigs of RAM. Okay, you can get this thing in 16 or 64 gigabytes of storage. It's got a fingerprint sensor on it. It's got a 3,300 milliamp hour battery on it. this device is hey man, it's a very good looking device. Something that's notably missing is the Android wallet that Google is expected to announce along with Android M. It's already starting to appear on several devices within Google Wallet. And hey, initial reviews of this thing basically, and I'm putting it politely, say the camera sucks. Okay? My question to you, Robert, has OnePlus 2 or OnePlus, have they missed the mark with this new device? I mean, there was so much buzz around the first device. Have they missed the mark a little bit with this one?
Well, here's the thing. You know, when you get hyped up, okay, and then you come up with a follow-up product, and it has a glaring failure on it. A camera failure is a big, big deal. Big deal. You can let the wind out of your sails real quick, and people will run away, especially with so many other phones on the market that are high-end quality devices. This is not a cheap phone. They promote it as the 2016 flagship killer. It's got a flagship price. So to come out so quickly to have, you know, these glaring failures, it's a really, really bad sign for them, you know, on the outset. Really bad.
Well, you know, the reason why they were so successful previously, it was like a lotto system to get the phone, right?
Still is.
So this one, you know, and that built up that demand, and they can only produce so many phones and all that other crap that goes with it. And you know, I have the phone, you don't. And it's kind of like an Apple elitism thing going on there. But yeah, if you don't perform, you know, you miss that second to get that sophomoric second year, not good. You know, the franchise might die. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like way, way early. This is not even, you know, not even sort of later on down the line. It's not an upgrade that kind of went south or something like that. I mean, this is out the gate bad complaints. So that's a real big problem. That's a real big problem.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen. Let's see how this thing does. Maybe the next software update will address some of the shortcomings in the camera. But yeah, I'm kind of, you know, the OnePlus One, I was tempted, and I'm still carrying my Nexus 5. It's been a great device. I replaced the battery in it. It's still a solid device, but you know, the OnePlus One was really tempting to me. But this OnePlus 2 is my attention for it is less and less as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, one more phone. Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Was really hoping that Bruce Turner would be here because, you know, Bruce and I have both owned Samsung Note devices in the past. Listen, I think this is a solid phone. If you're into the phablets, this Note 5 looks pretty tempting. All in all, it seems that Samsung has scaled back quite a bit on their bloatware. The bloat that is there is stuff that's specific to the stylus, and I have no problem with that. It makes the Note a much more functional device. But since Bruce isn't here, hey George, weigh in on this, man. I don't think this would be a phone for you, but for price versus performance, what do you think of the Samsung Galaxy Note 5?
Actually, it doesn't look too bad, actually. I kind of got off Samsung for a bit, but I wouldn't mind going back. But I also like the Moto as well, so...
Doesn't this phone have that? Wasn't there an issue with the stylus?
Yes, I was
the wrong way.
That you can take the stylus out and put it back in backwards, and when you do, the little catch there, you kind of ruin it, so the stylus won't stay in. So that might be a slight design flaw. Yeah.
I think I read that if you put it in wrong and you try to force it out, it actually destroys the motherboard on the phone.
Oof.
So, that would be kind of bad.
That would be bad. $700 phone. That would be really bad.
Bad. And again, I don't know. I don't have a business anymore, or any less, I guess. But I don't know if I would use the stylus as much, for computing. And although it's a nice looking phone. It is. They always make a nice look. The Note has always performed well, and just from Bruce's, talking up about it, and you too, Duke, you always liked it. You liked it a lot.
Well, but here again, you want to have a phablet, and the downside to this one versus Notes of past is a non-removable battery, no expandable storage. A lot of people migrated to the Samsung devices because they still offered that when all the other manufacturers quit offering that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And hey, listen, man, this is not a cheap device. This is right now. I think it's still at most places, it's $300 under a 2-year contract.
I kind of like the blue phones myself. I mean, they've been dependable to me. I think they beat the OnePlus phones out. They've been out longer than the whole idea of OnePlus is about the same as what Blue's been doing for years. So, and it's kind of funny though, because I know you guys are Microsoft supporters, but as I walk in Microsoft stores, their unlocked phones are all Blue phones in the Microsoft stores.
Since you brought that up, just real quick, I'll mention my son, for when he first came back from the Army, I bought him an iPhone. He loved it for a while. When it broke, he started buying Android phones. He's had several over time. He was in Florida a couple of weeks ago, and his Android phone failed him. He went to buy the cheapest phone that he could buy until the new Nexus, the 2015 Nexus 5 was going to come out. He was just wanting something to get him by. Guys, he bought, I think it's the Lumia 640 Windows phone. He loves it. He's not even sure he's going to buy a Nexus now. He's thinking about buying a more high-end Windows phone. Says he absolutely loves the tile interface and how it gives him so much information when all he's got to do is turn it on. He doesn't even have to push it because those live tiles are constantly feeding him information. Absolutely loves it. Yeah, it's. I'm thinking, guys, about maybe cutting him out of my wheel. I don't know, but
yeah, we can start that process right now. I mean, and especially George ain't never going to talk to him. I mean,
George will never speak to him again.
I would speak to you. I might chastise you.
Hey, all right. So I think we're all in agreement. The Note 5 it might be a little pricey, but it looks like a killer phone.
Yeah, I do want to say the one con that's listed in the article that we're reading off of here, they talk about the battery life, and this, I harp on this probably way more than I should, but especially now with the non-removable battery. Why do you put lame battery life in phones that got these giant screens and then have non-removable batteries? The only saving grace to it, it's got the rapid charge technology. So if there is the one downside that we got to mention, it's the battery life is not as good as it could be. It could be better. And in a big phone, you want that big, massive battery.
I think we can all agree with that. And, speaking of that, a phone that we rarely talk about here on this show is the Sony Xperias. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've seen the new Sony Xperia. Got that 4K display. What do you need with a 4K display? Give me a break, guys. I mean, it might be different if the phone was, 72 inches wide.
Well, I want it to burn the colors in the retinas of my eyes when I'm looking at it.
And all a display's going to do like that is just deplete more battery.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't try to watch videos on my phone anyways.
Well, I've done it a time or two, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Hey guys, let's talk about tablets, man. Wall Street Journal is saying that Amazon is going to, before Christmas this year, unveil a $50 6-inch Fire tablet. Now, I guess the first question that I'm going to ask to the panel, whoever wants to answer it, is why does Amazon want to compete at the low end?
It's got nothing to do with producing tablets, I can tell you that.
Yeah. It's the get you into the Amazon Prime Dash ecosystem. You want it now, Kindle, unlimited stuff.
You notice how many Prime commercials are on TV in the last 2 to 3 months?
They
They
have
are
seemed
pushing
to,
it hard.
they have seemed to bump their advertising. I agree. And let's face it, guys, they hadn't done a great job on the high end. The Amazon Fire Phone was a huge flop.
Yeah.
The tablets, the higher end tablets, the HD tablets, probably have not sold as well as Amazon would like. Okay, because let's face it, iPad sales have been down. Okay, tablets just aren't selling anymore.
Yeah, you know what? They did kind of hit a home run with the Echo, though. That seems to be doing well. And they're bringing more and more, they're getting more into the home automation aspect of it. So I think that's kind of, they kind of hit a little sweet spot with that a little bit.
But that goes into the same question as to why does Amazon have a $50 tablet? Why are they in the gutter, slugging it out with these, $50 and $80 Chinese tablets from Android? Why are they doing that? You know it costs more than $50 to make these tablets. There's got to be another reason. And what's that reason? Not just to get you into the ecosystem, but once you're there, they know once you've got the equipment in your hand, you're going to buy. You're going to buy from Amazon. You're going to buy. And they love that. Love it.
Yeah,
Hey, guys,
and- go ahead.
right here is a 6-inch Amazon Fire tablet that's priced at $99.
Yep.
Okay. Right here, this is one at $100. What we've got here on this display is 252 pixels per inch, which figures out to be a 1280 by 800 display. All right. It's of course, it's saying that you can enjoy more than 33 million movies, TV shows, songs, books, Android apps, and games. You can get it in 5 different colors. It's got a quad-core 1.5 inch 1.5 gigahertz processor. It's got a rear-facing HD camera, front-facing VGA camera. You can create personal profiles, of course. It gives you all of that Amazon stuff, but it's $99. What is that $50 one going to look like? I mean, listen, I'm thinking it might not even have a gig of RAM on it at $50. It might be 512.
And wait to see that the $50 tablet comes with 1 year free Prime.
Here's what I think. I think that that Amazon will compensate with forced advertising onto the tablet.
That's a possibility. Or this is what we think you'd like Amazon deal of the day, right? Kind of pops up, something like that, where the startup splash screen, or every time it shows the deal of the day. And all they have to do is get 2 extra sales per tablet that they sell, and they probably break even. That's how they're probably looking at it. If you buy something, you buy 2 items, 3 items a year, and you get this tablet, we broke even. And I hate to say this, man, we buy a lot of stuff from Amazon here. We buy our dog food from Amazon, and it comes in 2-day shipping.
Yeah, we don't buy dog food, but we do. We're pretty heavy Amazon shoppers. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, man. George, I'm going to start with you. This tablet is going to debut before Christmas. Will you take a chance for $50?
Yeah, for $50. I mean, I'm not really a fan of the Amazon ecosystem. In fact, I even unplugged my Fire Stick because the Roku still kick its butt. But you know, for $50, I might just get it and dink with it. And the worst case scenario is I sideload something else onto it. So,
Jeff?
You know, I could see it as a gift pretty easily. Yeah. Not for me, but for somebody else as a gift. Yes, I could see that.
Don't you have a Nexus 10 tablet?
I do have a Nexus 10 tablet.
At this time, you don't have another tablet, do you?
No. No. And you know, and like, here's my other tablet. It's called my Razer Max. You know, I mean, if I'm gonna, you know, I had a barbecue. I used this as my Wi-Fi Google Play thing. You know, outside, and it worked out really well.
Hey Jeff, this is mine. This is an old Moto Atrix. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I use it for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Robert, I know you've got a couple of Nexus 7 tablets.
I do.
You going to take a chance on this one for 50, or are you just going to say I don't need another tablet?
I don't need another tablet.
You wouldn't buy it at $25, would you?
I don't think so. I don't think, unless there's something spectacularly Amazon that I cannot pass by, that, you know, I just have to have, and I can't imagine what that might be.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to get it. Now, having said that, though, I do have a customer who, at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year last year, was looking for a tablet for her grandkids. And she considered the Amazon tablets. She almost bought them. They were just this much out of her price range. Okay? That is where this tablet would go. For her grandson, she would buy this tablet in a heartbeat, have them in the Amazon.
Plus, you know, they have that Amazon Underground too now with all the free apps and stuff.
You got the Amazon Underground, but that's for anybody who's, you know, on Amazon Prime. One thing though, if you own a tablet, you get to borrow books. Okay, and I'm thinking, you know, hey, for $50, that might be worth it to me rather than buy Kindle books. I could start borrowing them from other members.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've still got a tablet too. I'll be honest with you guys. If it had the Play Store on it, I wouldn't hesitate to go ahead and buy that tablet, knowing that I would use it very sparingly because I've got an NVIDIA tablet that I absolutely love.
Right.
But yeah, that one thing that I could borrow books, that would be a temptation for me. Absolutely.
If you're a reader, that is the one. That could be that one thing that I was talking about that might make me buy it.
You think it's going to have
It's not mine.
You think it's going to have a micro HDMI out?
Doubt it.
it might. Being an Amazon product, it might.
I doubt it. But you can bet it'll have an app that'll go to a Fire TV.
Well, it goes right to the Fire. You know that. It's going to definitely have that.
That's another thing. Now that I say I've got two Chromecast, I'm streaming stuff all over the place now with two Chromecast. I wouldn't be able to do that with Amazon Fire. The Amazon Fire tablet. I'm sorry.
You could sideload an app, right? Like,
Well, you're right. You're right. I could do it. I can't do it out of the box.
yeah.
I can do it. Absolutely. Okay. Hey, man, moving on. Hey, Google has unveiled an OnHub router. Okay, OnHub's the name of it, but it's basically a router. I don't know if you would call it innovative. I would call it attractive. It's cylinder. In fact, it looks a whole lot like the Amazon
Echo.
The Amazon
Yeah.
Echo.
You put the Echo and this post together next to a can of beans, they all look the same.
Yeah. And what's really cool about it is you can pull it up on an app. You can download an Android app and explore it. You can kind of give it what's priority that you want it to broadcast, which I think is pretty cool. But hey, there's 13 antennas built into it. You got 6 for 2.4 gigahertz, 6 for 5 gigahertz, and then one that monitors the environment and switches channels as needed to minimize interference. So that's pretty cool. You don't get that on your typical router. But I'm just not sure about this. And hey, Jeff, weigh in here. What do you think about this, man?
Well, I'm going to say no, because I used to have a separate router with my Comcast Xfinity cable modem deal, right? And then eventually I capitulated and just used their Wi-Fi and everything in the cable modem, and it works fine. It's just I don't have to worry. It's another device I don't have to deal with. So I don't think they're gonna sell that many of them, because there's a lot of people that are on like a cable Xfinity router that has built-in Wi-Fi. They don't need to fine-tune it that much, and if you really wanted to, you just go to the IP address and you can change some parameters within the router to like anything else. Just like so. I'm going no.
Hey, George, I asked this question on the Nexus 5. Who's going to buy this router?
Not me. But I think it's pretty much one of your high-end routers. I honestly don't see it selling all that greatly. I mean, especially if you're into routers, you're probably not going to buy it, because you can just get something has got DDWRT on it and hack the living crap out of it and make it dance the way you want to anyway. So, I mean, this would probably be one of those fancy routers, like for people who don't know much about routers but know it does a lot of things.
And that is the point of what this is. It's not for the techie person. As we read through this article, this guy talks about, sure, I'll send this to my mom or my parents and have them install it, and it'll work out the box, and it's very easy for them to do. But if you read further down into it, this is like an unfinished product, unbelievably. There's so many things on this that did not work out of the box. USB 3 doesn't work. There's some functionality that didn't work. This is not a finished product, and shame on Google for releasing it in this state. It's one thing if it had all of its features functioning, upon delivery, but to deliver something to somebody and it have a USB port that doesn't work, that doesn't function, that's just going to confuse the uninitiated.
Yeah.
I really have a problem with Google having released this device. I don't think it's going to be successful, because people, as a general rule, need more than one stinking Ethernet port on a router.
Exactly.
By default, you're forcing them to buy another piece of equipment. By default.
Quick poll here. Quick poll. Hey, George, how much did you spend on your last router?
All right. Well, actually, it's kind of funny, because I replaced a $90 router. I had an open source Netgear router that was failing me pretty horribly. I mean, I had it for about a year, with a $20 router that I actually sideloaded DDWRT on it, and it's working way better than any other router I've ever had.
Okay.
So I pinhole the living crap out of it. I run servers through it. I actually have an identical clone to it, so if something dies, I can pull another one off the rack and replace them quickly.
So what I'm hearing you say is that since you're technically inclined, you elected to spend the very least that you could get by with on a router, which is a great distance from $200. Jeff?
I think the last router I probably spent about $130. Yeah, Costco. Was a Netgear router, probably in that price range, I would imagine.
Hey, Robert.
Yes, sir.
How much would you say you spent on your last router?
Exactly $0.00.
Real quick, explain how you did that.
I installed pfSense on a virtual box on my machine, and it is my router. It controls all of the PCs and servers and printers and everything in my entire network. Now, I did have to buy a wireless access point. So to be totally fair, I spent $64 for a wireless access point, but my router is completely free, open source, and probably the most secure routing solution available to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, but you had to put in the cost of the PC, right?
Well, you can put that onto any machine.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you have to.
This is true. You got to have the cost of the machine if you want to get technical about it.
Technical.
A Raspberry Pi and a little $8 switch, a Roswell switch. You could.
There you go.
I replaced a $60 Netgear router with a Asus. I think I gave either 169 or 179 for an Asus router, and
That's the high-end one, right?
that is a very high-end one. Okay. Listen, when this thing goes, I might consider this Google router, but chances are I'm going to go with something a little cheaper. I don't see a lot of advantage.
TP-Link that you can put DDWRT on, and it worked better than my $90 open source router. So.
And guys, I'm not saying that, but here's what I think. I think that Joe Consumer, the guy that's going to go in Best Buy and say my router crapped out, I need a new one. If Google has this thing sitting in Best Buy, he's going to look at that $199 price tag, and sitting beside it is a D-Link or a Nexus, or
Netgear.
a Linksys or a Netgear, and it's going to be $49.95, and that's what he's going to walk out of the store with. Okay, all he wants is a router that works.
Right.
And all he's going to do is he's going to plug it in, put it in the CD or DVD, go through the install, it will configure it, it'll be done, and he's good to go, right?
Right. Anything that's going to be more high-end is going to be somebody who knows how to install DDWRT or pfSense, like I did, like George did, and this is a non-starter for us, completely a non-starter.
But doesn't it make you think why they actually built this?
I don't know why they built it. I don't know why it's priced at $200, and I don't know why they released it with half-assed configured components.
To compete with the Echo. Anything that looks like a can. It's competing against the can of beans.
Oh, jeez. God help them.
Hey, guys, really, really quick, listen, it's great to be back. I'm having a ball tonight, by the way, guys. I really want to appreciate, take time to thank my panel. I really do appreciate you guys. George the Gimp Dosher, thank you so much. Jeff Zeiss, yeah, man, living the dream in Napa, California. And Robert, it's so great to have you healthy and back, man.
Thank you,
guys. Go ahead.
It's Robert's mental health has always been a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. But he didn't mention that.
Exactly.
Okay, hey guys, hey, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We are Tech and Coffee 1 there. YouTube, we're just plain and simply Tech and Coffee. Hey, our favorite social network is Google+. Search for Tech and Coffee. Look for that T&C coffee cup logo. Catch this podcast on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Player FM. Hey, tweet to us using the hashtag and Coffee. Questions, comments, and snide remarks. AJ at techandcoffee.info. Hey guys, let's very quickly cover our apps tonight. George, what do you got for us, big dog?
I got. Well, it was a really cool app, and I just found it tonight. Glenn Jones, who filled in for Robert here, and I been playing with ZoneMinder, which is an open source security camera setup that you can use to record and set up zones, and it's just a biatch to assemble in Apache. But once you get it going, it's one of the greatest pieces of equipment there is. But the thing I was missing was an Android app version of it, and so they do have one. And unfortunately, I don't really, have the cool things you guys have set up here. But I can click on any one of these. There should be a pull down, and of course there isn't. All right. So I have a pull down menu here, and what I can do is do a montage, and I can show all 4 of my cameras. at once, and then I can click on, say, like the outside camera, and I can get a wider view of that. It's actually kind of cool. This is the free version. There's a paid version. The free version, you get rid of, with the paid version, you get rid of the ads, and you can actually watch more of your recorded sequences. Like I have it set to record when it goes past a certain zone. If something goes past it, some movement, it'll catch it. And I'm using infrared cameras, so they see in the dark. So it's pretty cool. I actually kind of like it, and that way I can use. I was using pretty expensive cameras, but then I ended up buying a $40 camera. It's just as good as the other ones. You just kind of hack them to work with ZoneMinder. It's kind of a techie thing, so you'd probably want to hit me up in Tech and Coffee if you're setting one of these up, because or Glenn, because it's a biatch.
All right, and that's ZoneMinder, correct?
Yeah, the ZoneMinder is open source. If you look it up, it's just basically it's a tarball file you have to unzip and put into your Apache server if you have one, and you have to be running OpenSQL and stuff.
And the app is ZMView, correct?
Yeah, it's the app that I'm using is, what was it? I put it in there, and I just literally loaded it before the show because I was playing with it.
ZMView, that's what I'd say, yeah.
ZMView in the Play Store.
Yep, and it's free.
So Jeff and Robert, it's my understanding you guys, do you have apps?
I
did not do an app.
But I just want to say that George also has an extension for Tech and Coffee for the Chrome. So.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I kind of dinked with it a bit, and then Matthew came in and pimped the living crap out of it by doing some extra stuff. One of our admins in France. So
yeah,
my cat likes it, as you can see.
I'm running an older version of it, but you can see.
Yeah, the newer one's much more pimped out. It's actually on the server. I'll probably push it up to the store once it gets cleaned up a little bit more. So anybody should be able to get it from the Chrome store once I get it up there.
Very good, very good. Hey guys, really, really quick, we were talking about the Note 5, and it reminded me. This guy is a longtime listener of this podcast, Raymond Anglada. Raymond does a lot of YouTube videos. I really enjoy his videos. He's currently just bought a Note 5. He's been doing some videos around the new Note 5. The dude, man, he has reviewed I don't know how many Chromebooks, does a great job. Listen, I'm talking high-end, low-end Chromebooks. The LG G4, the Samsung S6 Edge. It's if you go to YouTube, you're looking for Tech for the Networker. That's Tech, the number 4, the Networker. Tech for the Networker. Check him out. Raymond does a great job. Really enjoy his videos. And we were talking about the Note 5, and that just reminded me he's just picked one up. So check him out. He's been a very long-time supporter of this show. He's sent word he's wondering where I've been for the last few weeks. And I just wanted to give him a shout-out. I really do appreciate Raymond and his loyalty to this podcast. So check out youtube.com, Tech for the Networker. Yeah, man. Hey, guys, my app tonight is an app that I've done before. But I really like this app, so I thought that I would quickly do it again. This is, the name of this app is, let me pull it up here, Scanner Radio. This thing has got, it's rated 4.25 stars. It's been downloaded 141,595 times. If you're familiar with Broadcastify.com, really, really quickly, let me show you this. This is a scanner radio. It is, it's a hardware device. It's a trunking system, and I've had this thing for a few years. It's a great device, but the bottom line is I can do what this thing does on my app. This particular app that I'm running is a free app. It does have advertising. You can buy this app for $2.99 to remove the advertising, but I've got it tuned to my county's fire and EMS. Currently, there's 6 listeners, and I mentioned Broadcastify.com. This is actually pulling from Broadcastify to this app. And like I say, it's in an emergency when something's going on. I've always got my phone with me. This is a great way to monitor and learn. Not this past spring, but last year spring, I had a tornado come within a quarter mile of my house. This app was, well, it made me feel good because I knew what was going on. I knew what was going on around me, and I was hidden out in my basement. And luckily, no damage to my house, but about a quarter mile from me, a couple of houses were totally destroyed. So, great app here. This is called Scanner Radio. It's free in the Play Store, and if you want to remove the advertising, $2.99. Guys, that is my app of the week. So, anybody got anything else, man? We tried to cram a whole lot into an hour. Anybody got anything else they wanted to say?
I do. Snaps. Kickstarter is out.
Yeah. Hey, you and Robert, you want to talk about some of your Kickstarter investments here really, really quick?
I've done Kickstarted a movie called Octopus, Z-Snaps, and Micro Little Tiny PC. I can't think of the name of it. That should be coming sometime soon.
Yeah, I got the same Z-Snaps. That is like the best thing. You know, the worst thing about any micro USB is if it gets damaged. And you know when you plug it in, the first thing that happens, you yank on it, you pull on it, you do whatever to it, and once you ruin that little bitty plug right there, the device is dead, right? Well, the folks at Z-Snaps have come up with a small insert that goes in the bottom of the phone. It's magnetic, and it has an adapter that goes to the micro USB cord, any micro USB cord, and it just clicks and holds to the device. They started out seeking $90,000, and in 29 days, they raised $3 million at Kickstarter. I think magnetic charging is what people want. Hopefully this will be the wave of the future. You'll be able to get it soon at Best Buy. I can almost bet on it.
Yeah, it pretty much went well over its queue, so it should be.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys, really, really quick, follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Tech and Coffee 1, YouTube Tech and Coffee. Hey, check us out on Google+, search for Tech and Coffee, look for the coffee cup logo. Hey, you can catch this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Player FM. Tweet us using the hashtag TechandCoffee. Again, questions, comments, snide remarks, AJ at techandcoffee.info. Guys, have a great evening. We will catch you in 7. Peace out, gang.